If this video popped up on your timeline, hello, and welcome to not only the first lore video for this channel, but also the first ever video I've made. If the editing is terrible and the audio is scuffed, you have my sincerest apologies. During these videos, I will do my absolute best to cite the ideas I have sourced from talented people within the Elden Ring lore community, and link their channel and relevant video in the description below. For today's topic, I've decided to start easy and go for two simple questions that get asked quite a lot. Who is Ranni's mentor and why is she secret? To answer the first question, I will say who it is now and explain why I think this in a moment. I personally believe Ranni's mentor is of the Zamor people. I understand that some other theories proposed, such as Ranni's mentor is Ranni, or that Ranni's mentor is related to the various four-armed revenants we see throughout Liurnia. However, I think the reasoning for these is a little circumstantial at best and require a lot of stretches and at times leaps to be coherent, which I find unnecessary. I believe a lot of what we see and read in game points to Ranni's mentor as being of the Zamor than the other theories I mentioned previously. The Zamor are known for their worship of the cold and their rivalry to the fire giants, beings who worship the flame of ruin. In the item descriptions for freezing mist, frozen armament, and glintstone ice crag, we learn that these sorceries were imparted to Ranni by the snowy crone, while telling her to fear the dark moon. Why the snowy crone tells Ranni to fear the dark moon is unclear, but the implication is twofold. One, the snowy crone is aware of the dark moon's existence and by extent the Zamor. After all, the item description for Ranni's dark moon does not state she was the first to encounter it, merely that she had done so with the guidance of her mother, Rennala. Two, the dark moon is something to be feared, or something to be respected cautiously, depending on how you interpret the item description. Regardless, the dark moon is not something to be taken lightly. Uniquely, the subclass of ice magic lacks any identifying insignia except for a duelist moonblade, which had been taught to the dragon of the same name by Ranni. The only other sorceries in the game to lack any insignia are those of the primeval current, some of the most powerful glintstone sorcery to exist in the lands between. The only other people known to have ice sorcery that, while lacking insignia, is both uniquely named after them and the state to have originated from them is the Zamor. If Ranni's mentor was in fact a Zamor, it would make sense as someone coming from a culture of ice worship and confirmed to have ice sorcery associated with it, that she would be well versed in cold magics. The other question I mean to answer is if Ranni's mentor is a Zamor, then why is she secret? For this, I will need to dive into some of the in-game politics we see alluded to throughout the game. First, a very brief summary of the astrologers. Long story short, the astrologers are most well known as the precursors to the Carian royal family, but also presumably among the astrologers were the individuals who would go on to establish the Academy of Raya Lucaria. The astrologers were also well known for their surprisingly positive relationship with the fire giants, going as far as to call them their neighbors and even fashioning a sword to symbolize their good relations. We know the sword today as the Sword of Night and Flame. While this is all thankfully laid out for us, what is not is the astrologer's relationship with the Zamor. From what we know of the Zamor, thanks to their armor description, they have been enemies of the fire giants since time immemorial. While this is the case, what we do not know is when the Zamor originally founded their settlement on the mountaintops. There is a very real possibility that the Zamor had made their home on the mountaintops long before the fire giants did. Regardless of the exact timeline that the Zamor founded their settlement, what is clear is that the astrologers would have highly likely had made contact with them. Unfortunately, while we are never directly told of the astrologers' relationship with the Zamor, as no conflict with them is mentioned, what we can assume is that they are at minimum on neutral terms. For this part of the video, I would personally like to thank Quilag for her video on Liurnia and its timeline she introduced, as it helped broaden my perspective of these events and better formulate my thoughts for the subject matter at hand. The reason I mention any of this at all is because of the endgame politics I alluded to earlier, primarily that of the fire giant genocide in the Liurnian Wars. The people of Lindell, having been spooked by their prophet's visions of the flame of ruin burning the Erd Tree, had decided that to put an end to this threat, all the fire giants must die. The problem is that the fire giants actually had allies in the form of the Carian royal family, who, during the same period, also had control of the Academy of Raya Lucaria. When combined with the Carians' own military force, as well as the sorcerers of the Academy of Raya Lucaria, they were a substantial power to be reckoned with. Anticipating a retaliatory attack on their home while they fought against the fire giants, Marika had no choice but to split her army into two. Marika and her husband Godfrey would lead one half of Lindell's forces into the mountaintops while tasking the champion Radigan to lead the other half into Liurnia. This sparked both the First Liurnian War and the War on the Fire Giants. Lindo's armies being split in two had left them weakened, even with Marika and Godfrey at their side, as the Fire Giants were extraordinarily powerful foes. However, both the people of Zamor and most of the trolls, descendants of the giants, allied with Marika and her army, bolstering her ranks and turning the tides of the war. Meanwhile, the war in Liurnia ended in a stalemate, resulting in no victory for either of the participating parties involved. Without going on a further tangent, I mention all of this because of Zamor's decision to aid Marika and her army in killing the Fire Giants, and how this highly likely would have soured the relationship with the Carians. The Zamor would go on to be hailed as heroes by the forces of Lindell, while the Carians had lost a valuable ally they had once considered a friend. Putting all of this into perspective, it would make a lot of sense as to why Ranni would have kept her mentor a secret from others if her mentor was a Zamor. To summarize, Ranni's mentor was a Zamor well versed in cold sorcery and knowledgeable of the Dark Moon. Ranni kept her mentor a secret due to her family's disdain for the Zamor people after their involvement in the war against the Giants. I hope all of this makes sense, or at least proposes a compelling theory if you are not completely sold on it. But do not let me think for you. Who do you think Ranni's mentor is? Is it Ranni all along, and I'm completely wrong? Or is she some completely unknown character to be revealed in the upcoming expansion, and we will all be proven wrong? Leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, or I'll also be lost in the endless void forever.